Oh, Auburn, Alabama. That's where we're going in this next one. 6:45 p.m. on the SEC Network. Number 16, Missouri, fresh off the loss against Alabama, coming in 5-1 against the Auburn Tigers at 3-3 on the year, who just got screwed out of another game against Georgia by the refs. Man, tough scene for Auburn fans. Tough scene. Um, Auburn, however, is favored in this one by 2.5 at home against Missouri. Missouri has a 53% chance to win, according to the FPI. But, Quinn, before you go, if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button down below. It's free. It'll take 2 seconds out of your day. You can even stop watching the video to do that. We will appreciate and accept that. But moving on from that, Quinn, can Auburn finally get a win here against a ranked team in the SEC?
Well, I'll start with this. Auburn's favored because they're at home. What Vegas gives you 3 points for being at home, or the
Yeah,
three.
that's the theory's 3.5. Yeah.
So Auburn's the favorite because they're at home. I am very intrigued for both of these teams, and I'll tell you why. Let's start with Auburn. You got to get off the mat, man. Auburn is the best team in the SEC at finding ways to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get it. You want to claim that you're being screwed by the refs. You have a relatively fair case. The scoop and score fumble against Oklahoma that was called not a fumble. The the touchdown that was called a fumble against Georgia. No call on the lineup against Oklahoma. But, Freddie, do you know what all of those screwed moments have in common?
What?
They were all in the first half of these games. What
Yeah.
happened in the second half? You're going into halftime, not making any adjustments, and then coming out flat against your opponents in the second half. And in the A&M game, you can go, oh, that was close. Not really. A really dumb decision by Marcel Reed gave you a 90-something yard interception that allowed your offense. They got like 2 yards of offense in the fourth quarter. Auburn's offense not done anything in the second half of any SEC game. So they've got to get off the mat in a game. And I'm very intrigued that they can finally do it at home here against Missouri. Now, what's the big takeaway from Missouri? Are you going to do the thing that I've seen so many SEC teams do in one of two scenarios? And I'll use both of these teams as an example. Prime Saban, Alabama, and Kirby Smart, early 2020 Georgia. When teams would get up for that game, play them close, and lose, it's like their season was over and they were just dead fish in the water for the rest of the year. It's like they put all their eggs in that basket, and when they lost the game, it killed their momentum. I've seen that happen to so many teams.
Yeah.
Missouri played their hearts out against Alabama this past weekend in Como. They wanted that win. It would be the biggest win at a Missouri home game in like 50-something years, and they got this close. So now are you going to get up off the mat and go, okay, well, yeah, we lost to Alabama, but we're still a really good team, and we're going to go prove it by beating up on Auburn like all these other good teams have done. Auburn's defense is legit. They're going to slow this Missouri offense down. They're going to try to take Ahmad Hardy completely out of the game, and they're definitely going to get at least one interception on Bo Perbula. I don't think he's that good. I think he's a pretty overhyped quarterback, all things considered. I don't think he sees the field very well. When Auburn's got the ball, they're not going to do anything with it. And I can tell you that with confidence because Missouri's got legit pass rush, okay? Which means they're not going to have time to sit back and try to get something deep. And against Georgia, a team that can't rush the passer, you still couldn't hit anything deep. And so I have no confidence that Auburn's going to be able to move the ball in the second half against Missouri. And somehow, some way, they're going to find a way to lose to the Missouri Tigers. I promise that right here, right now. Auburn's going to look like the better team and find a way to do nothing in the second half and lose this game. That's what's going to happen. And until I see Hugh Freeze give me a reason to think that's not the case, that's how I'm going to operate. I frankly think out of everything on their schedule, their most winnable game left is the Iron Bowl, strictly because it's the Iron Bowl at Auburn, and they're going to get insanely up for that game. And they always get one big home win at some point. Missouri, even though they're a really good football team and they're ranked number 15 in the country, nobody in the conference respects Missouri at all. Nobody
Yeah.
sees Missouri and goes, man, that's a big win. So this doesn't have the vibe of get a big win over Missouri. It has the vibe of, hey, we're Auburn and we're supposed to be the big bully. And it's just another reminder to Auburn fans how far they've fallen in the 2020s. Freddie, really quick before I move on from this, I do just for fun, I calculate legacy scores, right, for teams. And the way I do it is I give you like a point if you made a major bowl game and you lost, 3 points if you won it, 5 points if you lost the semi, 10 for a national title appearance, and 25 for a national title win. The first 10 years of the BCS was 98 to 2007. The next 10 years was half BCS, half CFP, 2008 to 2017. In that 10-year window, Auburn was the fifth best team in all of college football.
Yeah.
Think about that from 2008 to 2017. And now they've started 0-3 in SEC play 3 years in a row.
It's a bad fall off.
It's give me Missouri.
So I picked Auburn to win last week against Georgia, and I felt really good about that pick all week, and even during the game, I felt good about that pick. Up until the botched fumble, where Auburn could have went up 17-0. I think that's a completely different second half. If you're up 17-0 versus 10-3, that's a 10-point swing. Now, I'm not saying that Auburn would have won the game. However, they would have had a much better chance to win the game because their offense, honestly, looked pretty good in the first half. They were running the ball well. Their defense was playing out of their mind. I think Georgia had 20 yards of offense before that final drive before halftime.
Yes, looked at that, by the way. There's a statistic that I think it was SEC, like the SEC Rewind or whatever did, where it was like Auburn had like 270 yards in the first half to Georgia's 20, and then Georgia had like 262 to Auburn's 40 in the second half.
Yeah.
It's like the game completely flipped.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. It's definitely a tale of two halves. And what's interesting about this matchup is both of these teams are coming off emotional losses. One is a rivalry game in Auburn, and the other one, like you mentioned, was a game that would have been their biggest win in 50 to 60 years in Missouri. So both have the emotional loss, and I'll be honest with you, what you brought up about teams that after they play Alabama, they lose. My dad mentioned that about 4 or 5 years ago. I never caught on to that kind of realization until he brought it up, because it was a year where I think it was one of the first 2 years of the playoffs, and Alabama was right on that bubble, and they were comparing schedules, and my dad was like, yeah, but what people don't realize is that when Alabama wins a game, that kills everybody's entire season. They go on to lose another 2 games simply because they couldn't beat Alabama. And that's a very real thing. I'm going Auburn to win here. This is a game. This is a must-win game. Now, you mentioned that if Auburn wins this game, it's you beat Missouri. Although I think that's true, this has been now. Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Like this will be Missouri's third straight year of being a really good football team. They made a major bowl game 2 years ago, and then
against Ohio State.
correct, they beat Ohio State, and then last year a lot of injuries, but was still a really good football team. I think they had 3 losses the entire year, with a lot of injuries, and then now this year. But what I saw from Missouri was a team that put everything they had into that Alabama game, and I think it deflated them. And I think Auburn's hungry. Their defense is one of the best defenses in the SEC. From what I've watched Auburn play over the past 3-4 weeks, they're a very good unit. Jackson Arnold has only thrown 5 touchdowns, no interceptions because he's scared to throw the ball, and that's a problem. But Auburn's offensive line is just terrible. Like they genuinely are just they're Swiss cheese. There's holes all over the place. But I think they lock in at home at night under the lights. Jordan Hare, give me Auburn to win this game against Missouri.